Cool. Hi, everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome to our 113 burn down. I've pasted the link to the docs in the chat. Please add your attendance if you've not done so already. And as always, this meeting is being recorded and will go up on YouTube shortly after. So please be mindful of what you say. With that, let's get started. It's the almost the code freeze week. We are in code slush officially as of 5 p.m. Friday. Thanks to Cole and Amit for merging the merge blocking criteria. So all the PRs are now blocked on, will be blocked on 4 labels, as mentioned earlier. So I've been going over all pending PRs as much as possible, especially the ones that we are tracking for any failing tests or enhancements over the weekend. And some of them didn't have the priority label, which I was able to add. So that said, if you come across any issue that's not having those labels, please remind the owners to add it, or add those if you know what is the exact priority and milestone, of course. That is for code slush. And yeah, code freeze is on track as of now for end of week Friday, 11/16. So again, we've been continuously reminding. Thanks to the awesome enhancement lead and shadows, we've been completely on all of the enhancement issues, reminding folks that code freeze is just less than a week away, and been trying to get a sense of what is left for all the enhancements to go in. We'll circle back to that more in the enhancement section. Beta 1 is also going to be this Friday, but we do see a few CI signal issues that's concerning at this point. So Beta 1 will depend on CI greenness. Again, we can discuss more about it in the CI section. I did have some time this weekend to scrub through all the enhancements a little bit more in detail, just to see what's pending and what's the CI status on work that's already been merged. There are a few large ticket items there which are concerning. I've invited the Windows and storage leads to our Wednesday's burn down so that we can assess the remaining work and make a go, no-go call. Lubomir from Kubeadmin is here today to give a status update so that we can understand what's left out of the Kubeadmin GA effort in 113. And lastly, as for a general announcement, is the license issue that we were tracking in the Hecate repo. There was great traction on that late last week. The upstream change went in, and we also updated the relevant KK files to have the correct license right now. So that is now out of the blocker. So that's all for the broad updates. We will dive into individual sections unless anybody has any questions before that. Cool. Cole, you're up first. Anything other than what I had mentioned?
Yes. So I was just looking through the PRs that got merged to make sure that everything was working properly. It looks like the merge automation itself is fine. Mm-hmm. But the require matching label plugin, which is what's responsible for ensuring that there's a needs kind and needs priority label, it's working fine, but it's not. It reacts to new PRs and when labels are updated on the PR of the appropriate type. Yeah. So old PRs that never had a priority label before this automation was even enabled, and if they never had a priority label change or anything like that, they didn't get the needs priority label.
I see.
So I noticed that there's, not a whole lot of PRs have merged into master since code slush went into effect. There's like just a handful, I guess. Mm-hmm. But some of those are missing the appropriate priority and kinds.
Okay.
So if that's important, we can probably go back and just add the ones that are missing.
Yeah. At this point, how many? Do you know how many are there that's missing needs that has needs kind and needs priority at this point?
I only saw like 3, I think, that actually were missing stuff, but I didn't look through a whole lot. But yeah. I think only like less than 10 PRs probably have merged since Friday, so there's probably not a whole lot to adjust.
Yeah, I wouldn't consider that super high priority right now, because I think this is more to enforce that whatever's going in has that label. So I wouldn't be too worried about this, considering code freeze is just coming up. And that criteria has been around for almost a while.
Well, I just want to point that out going forward. If there's still old PRs, they could still be missing that. So that's something to keep an eye out for. I've been thinking about ways this can be involved, like the automation can be improved, so this isn't a problem. But I don't think I can fix it this release. So I'll need to.
I wouldn't be.
Retro.
Got it. I don't think that's like super P0 right now at this point. But yeah, thanks for bringing that up. I can go ahead. I will try to scrub a little bit through and see if there are many more like that.
Okay. And there's still no PRs to the 113 branch. So
yes. Yeah. Cool. Thanks for bringing that up. Next up, enhancements. Kendrick.
Hey, how's it going? So first off, I just want to say thank you for spending all the time this weekend, seeing those emails coming through. I know that you're burning the midnight oil and making this go as smooth as possible. So thank you for taking the time and doing that and kind of wrangling a lot of this stuff together. But as of last week, so we are down 2 from last week from where we were. We had one that we thought was in limbo because they're saying, this is for 565, saying that we have a dev available for it. And then as of Friday, it said, okay, or I think Saturday or Sunday, they said no longer going to be part of this. So that's being taken out of limbo now. So it's now being deferred. The 2 that are stable that we were looking at, that were sort of big ticket items. I'm going to let Lubomir talk about KubeADM when we get to the end of this. But the other one is Windows Server support. I probably should have put it in here, but there is a dashboard of all of the PRs and everything that's sort of going into it. Right now, there's 7 PRs that are waiting to merge with 3 conformance blockers. So there's a lot of stuff to really get done before the end of this day, or the end of this week for Windows. So we're going to be hearing from them come Wednesday to see where we are going to be with inside of that process as well. The Atom Tree CSI plugins. Again, this is another big one as well. There's 2 PRs that are closed. There's a lot of active involvement, a lot of stuff where it's happening on them, but still waiting on that 1.0 spec to finally merge. And I believe we'll hear from Saad on Wednesday as well to figure out where we are in regards to that too. 213, this is something that we had talked about. There's been no communication. So today it's out. Probably, if I had to guess, that's probably going to happen 5 p.m. my time. I'm Eastern, so let's go ahead and just make that happen.
Yes, I think so, because I also tried pinging on Slack and everything. I don't see any response at this point. I think we should move it out.
Yep, I'm fine with that. And then the next 3 kind of going down here, there's active PRs that are going on, 2 alpha and 2 betas right there. So just keeping an eye on those and sort of seeing where they are, making sure tests are regularly being done on it as well. The third parties device monitoring plugins, as of Friday, nothing was happening. A KEP wasn't approved or anything like that. But now that it's finally approved, it's still waiting for merge. There is one PR that is active right now, so we're just going to have to monitor that as it continues to go. The same thing with 625 is related to 594. We'll just kind of see. This will probably get moved out as well. Just waiting for a official confirmation from Saad on it. And then 626. This is the one that it's a work on the vSphere plugin. This is still an in-tree component. There hasn't been any active work for about 4 to 7 days. So in my opinion, we should probably just go ahead and remove it at the end of the day, but I don't want to gauge anybody else's thoughts on it as well.
I again pinged Zhang on Slack just because there was he said the feature is kind of on track 3 days ago, but I'm not seeing what PRs is it waiting on. So in lack of that, I think we should definitely move it out end of day today, and then see if we hear back from them.
I'll make one more kind of call on it, and I'll try to ping him as well. If not, then I agree. Lack of communication just kind of gives you an idea that it's not my priority.
Yeah, worst case, they will, I mean, if it's already done and if it's just a matter of things not being updated in the issue, we'll hear about it. So.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Like I said, so for me, we've just got these ones that we're tracking. I think after Wednesday, we're going to be in a pretty good situation of where we feel comfortable, what's going to be happening. And then, then we should be kind of off to the races after code freeze.
Yeah.
But from there, go ahead.
No, go ahead, please.
I was going to go ahead and just let Lubomir sort of chime in on the Kube-ADM stuff.
Okay, just one quick note before Lubomir gives an update. The server-side apply also fell out of 113. Just to give an just official update here, they weren't able to wrangle things, so it's moved to 114 now. So for all of these, I think thanks for the detailed update, Kendrick. Most of those are just a couple of PRs here and there, and all of them also have docs in place. So in my mind, I'm kind of time boxing things to go in early Wednesday or at least end of day Wednesday if they have to be in 113, mainly because most of these are also adding end-to-end tests. So we want to see CI stabilize at least for the next couple of days before freeze. So I think I will make a call on most of these by Wednesday. And we should, if at that point, if PRs are still active, then we should go ahead and be able to move them out. The risk assessment will become more clear on Wednesday is what I feel. With that, Lubomir, do you want to talk about kubeadmin status?
Hi, can I share my screen to make it more?
Just a second. Are you able to share now, or could you try?
Trying. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
All right. So first of all, I wanted to make a quick request for the release team to add Fabrizio Pandini to the milestone maintainers, because we oftentimes lack a third milestone maintainer.
Okay.
Because Lucas and Timothy are very busy most of the time.
Okay. So, could you please ping me the link to that on the meeting minutes or separately on chat? Slack, I can approve it.
It's already here.
Okay.
Here.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's actually a bit of a blocker for us. If we have this, it's going to be easier for us to move forward. So the next what's up, kubeadm to GA. Now, we have a couple of issues to track in terms of code changes. Now, here is one of them. I just wanted to quickly explain to you what this is about. So this is something we are doing. We are refactoring all the commands, sub-commands of kubeadm. And we have a big list of PRs here. As you can see, all of them have a check mark. So they're done, pretty much. Some items at the bottom, we can move to 114. But once you see this issue closed, we are done with this part of the change to GA.
Okay.
The second one is, this is about the configuration of kubeadm. We have a lot of PRs against this.
Yes.
Most of them merged. And at the bottom, we have some few remaining items, a couple of them.
A couple of them.
And after this is done, we are going to close the issue again. You can monitor it. Okay. In terms of docs, we have a tracking issue at the website repository. And I created one PR. It already merged, it merged immediately yesterday. And we have another which is still a placeholder. And I'm going to try to update it before the 19th of November. And we don't have anything else.
Okay.
We only have these two PRs for docs. Okay. And this is an interesting topic. I saw that Josh had a concern about this. So if kubeadm is going GA, we have upgrade tests that are always red because of a testing for a / end-to-end test framework problem. But also we have some actual failures. We can resolve the actual failures, but we cannot resolve the other issues. So it was a question if should these tests be removed from the release 113.0 dashboard because they are going to remain red for 113.
Oh, in that, okay, I'm sorry. I thought you were going to continue after that.
Yeah, that's a question, yeah.
So in the tracking issue, there's that one test that is a legit failure is what you were saying, right? I had a link to that in the release notes.
Yeah, that's the tracking issue for all the Kubernetes upgrade failure.
In that, I think the third one there, the one that you're seeing, 2831, yes. So that is a legit failure that you guys are tracking for 113.
Yes, we are tracking it, but there is also something else that, for 113, yes, but the failures are different for different branches, basically.
Okay.
But yeah, we are going to try to resolve it. Like the question is, this is not release blocking. So
when you say it's not release blocking, is there any other way you were able to verify that the upgrade functionality itself works? Is there any other signal?
The signal is VMware and Heptio testing on like their own machines. We don't have good infrastructure for this right now.
Okay.
And I mean, we should improve it in the next cycle, but unfortunately for this cycle, we don't have CI signal.
Okay. And the SIG itself is confident with that upgrade flow with the signal from Heptio and VMware rather than from SIG.
Yes, we're confident about it. I mean, there are always bugs and we have bug reports, but overall the upgrades are working.
Okay. I'm just curious, there are a couple of other jobs in the release blocking things, right? They are passing consistently. So what do they test versus this specific upgrade?
If they don't have, I can open test grid quickly. If they don't have kubeadm in the name, then they're probably using like GKE or...
No. The kubeadm test that's there in SIG release. We go to SIG release.
Okay. Which one?
1.13 blocking. The one just below. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So there are, if you see the last two kubeadm jobs there, GC 113, 112 on 113 and GC 113, these seem to be passing consistently. Versus, yeah, so I'm just trying to understand the difference between these jobs and the one that's failing in the 113 all dashboard.
Okay, because of the problem we have with these test infrastructure slash end-to-end framework problems, like these are the things I'm talking about, like these 4 items here, we cannot skip them, which means that these family of tests, like 12 to 113, they're gonna remain red at all times. And that's why we don't want to get them into this dashboard, which is the broken.
Yeah. And then the GC, kubeadmin GC 112 on 113 doesn't do an upgrade flow at all. The second last job here.
This one?
Yes.
No, what this one is doing is basically pulling like new artifacts, like new kubeadm artifacts, 113 artifacts, and it tests an old version of the control plane.
Okay, got it. Okay. Yeah, if the upgrade tests, if you guys have signal that they are passing elsewhere, and if the SIG is confident, I think it makes sense to move it out of the 113 blocking dashboard, which currently it's not. It's anyway just in 113 all.
Yes.
So I would leave it there with like a note saying now that we know that this because of test infra, and we would want to watch this in 114 the next cycle when you guys get it fine. So I'm okay leaving it here because at this point we've assessed that it's not it's a test infra issue rather than a product issue. So I'm not too worried about this staying here and failing versus booting it out.
Yeah, hopefully we're gonna completely refactor our upgrades jobs in the next cycle.
Okay.
Do you have any questions related to my update?
Yeah. My only question is that the first issue 1163, and the issues to track, it has quite a few open PRs, and you're confident about all of that kind of making it in sometime this week. I know this is out of trade, doesn't really come under the code freeze thing, but still, I would like to know when we expect these to land.
Well, all of these PRs are merged, all of them that have a check mark.
If you scroll down, there were a few that were open all the way
So
down.
these are other items that we can
Okay.
keep these out of 113.
Okay, cool.
Basically, we are tracking everything in the same. I mean, I'm probably gonna ping you like saying that okay, this is done. Like this is the second GA item we want.
Okay, awesome. So as long as everything that's blocking 113 is done, it should be good.
Yeah, I'm pretty much going to ping you if we are not confident about anything.
Sounds good. Cool.
All right.
Thanks a lot, Libamir. Thanks for the detailed update and taking time. Thanks.
No problem. Thanks.
Cool. With that, let's go to CI Signal. Josh is in Shanghai. Maria, do you want to give an update, or Martin, whoever's available? I see Maria.
Yeah, hi, I'm just also going through test grid. There are a couple of things that have been open for a few days, which I think are going to be the top priority during the rest of the week. Mainly, upgrade tests are the things that we'll be looking at, and then a couple of new flakes that we're just keeping an eye on and see if they clear out. Yeah, I think that's mostly the summary of it. Status-wise, I would say I'm not sure what sort of things we're looking at for red, and I mean there's a couple of things in blocking, but I think we've still got a little bit of time to sort of support them in being resolved.
Yeah,
so it feels like a yellow, but not too sure.
Yeah, I'm like really concerned only about the upgrade tests at this point. Mainly because ever since we cut the 112 branch, 113 branch, the upgrade, the GC master upgrade has been timing out on the dashboard. Incidentally, this coincides with horizontal HPA auto scaling PR that got merged, that got cherry picked into 112 on the same day. So which makes me think that that could be something that's causing the upgrade to timeout. One good part here is when I dig into the logs, the upgrade itself passes. It's some job after that that's timing out the run at 15 hours. So I pinged Justin on this. I'm working closely with him to track this and see what could have caused this. But this seems to be the biggest concern at this point. And if this is not resolved / understood by Friday, this could block beta 1, especially if the upgrade flows are in kind of, if upgrade flows are not passing, then this will block beta 1. I will keep folks updated on this. Maria, would you mind following up on the resource quota failure that is just listed below that? This is again something that's happening consistently on the upgrade, one of the upgrade jobs, but looks like the owner is not sure about what the fix is. So if you could just follow up with the scheduling folks on this, that'll be great.
Sounds good, yeah.
And I'm sorry for the cross noise here. My daughter is singing.
It's the cutest thing ever.
She's home and sorry about all of that. And the only remaining thing is the performance regression that the issue is still open since we haven't heard from Wojtek if all the concerns are addressed with the latest runs. I pinged him a couple of times. I will follow up again with him. But from the runs, we had a large scale run. We had a couple of GC 100 nodes run. The numbers are holding up. So I would be really surprised if we find any performance regressions past this, but I'll work with him, and then if things look good, we should close this out.
Yeah, is it worth looking at previous runs and see how different they are?
Yeah, that's
because I remember we saw like a little bit over, but it wasn't hugely over previous values.
Yeah. And also, Bobby from scheduling, he reverted one more culprit PR, which he thinks actually took the CPU resource consumption up. So that one merged sometime last week, I think Friday or Thursday. And after that, I see the numbers for those runs match with what was there earlier, like 2 weeks out. So, but yeah, maybe if you have some time, we can compare the latest runs and then ping Wojtek again. That would be great. So yeah, the biggest concern for CI is the upgrade tests. And I think your assessment of yellow is right there. Cool. Any questions from anybody before we move to the next issues? Cool. Bug triage, no, Nico isn't feeling well, he's out, and we have the shadows taking over. Is anybody here from there, from shadows?
Yeah, I can give an update for bug
Hey.
triage.
Yes.
So a bunch of issues were closed or moved out since Friday. One was the Hecate issue, as Ash mentioned, and then a CSI issue was moved out, and another cleanup issue was moved out. As far as the open issues are concerned, there's an issue related to 6 storage, which Nico pinged the owner, and they're going to give us an update probably by next 2 days or something. Then there's another issue related to Cube ADM upgrade failure. I'm not sure what's the state on this. You did not mention any notes here.
That's actually, I added it, my bad. This is the this was the upgrade, the one failure in the Cube admin upgrade that Lubomir was talking about. They have some PRs open. I just wanted to list the issue here, since it might not show up in any of your queries, since that one is not in KK.
Okay.
So I just added it here so that it's in your radar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then important soon, this issue is Windows Conformance end-to-end test, which will most likely be shifted to 1.14.
Yep.
Then we have, just a second. Yeah, this issue, the plugin watcher getting notified, was recently added, and Nico is gathering more information about it.
Okay.
And this issue, the failed volume attached TTAT operation, leave the volume state uncertain. This is already, like, it has a PR out, which is being reviewed and should get merged very soon.
Awesome.
And the last one, this is again a cleanup testing plan for component config types, and is most likely going to be moved out, and it's not too important.
Sounds
so
good.
everything's looking good from our side.
Thanks a lot, Subiksha. Yeah, as and when if you see any of these PRs, if you don't see the 4 labels, go ahead. If you could go ahead and add them, that'll be awesome.
Sure. Yeah, if I can add them, I'll add them myself, or I'll ping you on Nico.
Sounds good. I will follow up on the one critical urgent with Saad, just to see what's going on there, because there's quite a bit of active discussion, and I would like to get an ETA for when it will actually merge. Okay.
Sure.
And that brings us to docs. Tim.
Hey, everybody. So yeah, placeholder PRs are in a good place now. 598 should have a PR open today, and I'll follow up with that. 622 need to talk to Aaron about that again. That's CD2 deprecation. Just want to make sure whether or not anything needs to go into docs for that. I think he might be busy because he's in Shanghai for KubeCon. But if something does come in for this, it'll be pretty small anyway, I think. So I'm not too worried about it. And then 213, as mentioned previously, is probably going to be bumped today. So we probably won't need anything for that. So we'll be doing a dry run of doc generation this week, just to test out the flow. That's going to be run in parallel with the beta 1 release, so it's not going to block that, and it won't require that either. So should be good. The number of completed PRs are low, though, so we need to follow up on that to make sure we're looking good for the November 19th date for completed PRs.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, when I was just looking through all the enhancements, most of them had placeholders, which is a good thing. And yeah, I think you're on top of this. If you need any help following up with any of these placeholder PRs to move them to completion, don't feel free to reach out to us and we can split the work.
Yeah, sure thing. We'll do.
Awesome. And if you need anything for the dog generation mock run, let us know. But I think you have it under control at this point.
Yeah, I'm going to be getting help from a bunch of the SigDocs people with that.
Okay, cool.
I had one quick question for Tim here. What is like the final date? When is the official reference docs going to be generated? Like one day before the release or something like that?
Yeah, the reference docs will be generated like on release date, I think. Yeah. We'll probably want to get do a few tests before that. I think there was some difficulty in the 112 release around doing it so last minute. So we'll probably do a couple of test runs a few days beforehand, and then the final one will be cut day of release. Correct me if I'm wrong, Aish.
Yeah, that's right. Last time from 112, we kind of did it after the release went out, was published. The docs would then kick off to send the final notes out. So that's when we ran into a bunch of tooling issues there, which we are trying to iron out earlier this cycle.
Thank you.
Sure. Cool. Next up, release notes. Mike?
Hey, how's it going, y'all? I have 3 things today. First thing, the first draft of the release notes Google Doc. Talked about this in the Friday burn down meeting for those of you that weren't there, but feel free to check out that. And we're going to be sending that out to, for the release team, check that out, review it, leave comments. And we'll for sure incorporate them, me in the shadows. The second thing is known issues. So every release we generally create a known issues GitHub issue in the KK repo, and I have a few known issues that I've scraped, and I could probably scrape a few more, but I didn't see one. I'm happy to create one, but I just wanted to verify that one hasn't been created yet, and that that could happen.
Not that to my knowledge, I have not created one. Subeksha, do you know if Nico has one?
I'm not sure. I'll have to check.
Yeah. Don't think so, Mike. If you don't find it there, I think we should go ahead. Please go ahead and create one.
Okay, cool. I'll do that and populate it with what I already know and see if I can get anything else put in there. And,
yeah. Would you be including a link to that in your blast to the SIG leads, just to take a look at the issue and add things there?
Sure, yeah, I can go create that now, and then I can edit the copy, because the third item on the list, the third update item, is Dave, the release note shadow, who's been release note shadow last release and this release, is going to start reaching out to SIG leads and chairs for major themes this afternoon after any feedback from today's meeting, if any. So there's a doc there, SIG lead / chair comms. If anyone's interested in what we're going to send to SIG leads, or what we're asking them to do to the doc, then feel free to check that out, add your feedback, and we'll for sure incorporate it into the comms. The current deadline is pretty early for this. We're giving folks like a week and a half. The current deadline that we set for the Aish set for this coming in is, or for all the major themes to be done, is November 21st, which is the day of beta 2. And at that point, if we didn't get anything from SIG leads, we're just going to start guessing and writing our own major themes for each SIG based on the notes that have been submitted, or if it's an inactive SIG or something that doesn't have major themes in the release notes, then we'll probably just not include it in the major themes.
Yeah. The only thing I would say is, like, after sending this out and between now and 21, I think it's a good idea to follow up with them one-on-one. I know you and your shadows were going to do that as well. So that, we kind of nudge them slightly to take a look at it.
Yeah, the plan is we're going to send an email out today, and then we'll kind of see if we get how significant the responses we get from that, and then start following up with people on Slack and PMs and in the SIG channels Thursday or Friday this week.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks for staying on top of that. Awesome. And finally, comps. Caitlin, are you there today? Or if not, I think she has almost all that she needs for this release. Yeah, I don't see her around. Cool. That brings us to the end of the agenda. So the release is just starting to get really crazy, as with everything else. A huge thanks for all of you, all the leads, and also the shadows who've been like amazing and super active this time. Thanks a lot for all your hard work. Hopefully we will enter code freeze with fewer test failures, and then with a little bit more enhancement so that we can have something sizable in our blog post. So cool. With that, I don't have anything else left. Any questions, feedback, suggestions? Cool. If not, have a happy Monday all, and I'll see you guys again Wednesday. Bye.
Thanks, Aish. Bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Yeah.